Hi, Jim. I am KJ. I'm with Geek Vibes Nation, and I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm super excited to talk to you.
You know what? I'm listed as being from Wisconsin in on Wikipedia, which I have no control over. I'm actually from Michigan, which is almost as good. And
Yes.
we actually have a house guest staying with us from Wisconsin who also insists on showing where places are in the state using her
Yep.
hand,
Oh,
when in
yes.
fact it's Michigan that gets to do that. I'm very sorry, cheesehead.
All good. We can still be friends. Let's just not talk
Okay, all
football.
right, you're right. We can let's stop the hate.
Let's talk Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earth. You've got part three out, so the whole world gets to see the whole thing. And of course, when part two ended, there were a lot of questions, not only for people who are maybe seeing it for the first time, but also for people who love the comic books of like, where are we going with this? So now that
Yes.
it's out, how are you feeling about the entire story being out there for the world to see?
You know, KJ, it feels like um, it takes a long time to get a sense of how people reacted to the film. I don't think I'll know this week or and frankly, 10 years later, people look at all these films in a very different way. The ones that they'll come out and, oh, this is the worst thing that ever happened. And that would happen with half of those Tucker films, and people, and now you look back and go, yeah, well, these are freaking great. So
Hmm.
I'm trying to take any criticism with a grain of salt, and I'm trying to take praise with a grain of salt as well. So uh, hopefully, in the end, people will have been entertained. They'll maybe appreciate some of the emotional moments that we tried to achieve, and if we didn't achieve it for them, they'll forgive us. We'll see.
Yeah, let's talk about, especially, in this, in part three, there's a lot of emotion that we see through Supergirl, which was a little bit of a change, right? Was
Yeah,
that fun for you to be able to kind of write that in and share Supergirl's story in a little different way?
yeah, absolutely. And I think what I like about that is in the that iconic image of Superman holding Supergirl's body is
Hmm.
it's etched in people's minds. And then when you actually read the comic, it feels like, oh, she just died in the crossfire, and it's like, oh, that's a shame, and that's a valid war story moment because people die stupidly and inconsequentially all the time. But in some ways, it didn't feel like that image of him cradling her her corpse. It felt like it needed to be shorn up a little in what her story in this was, and by combining Kara's story uh, with Harbinger's story, that was a way to give it real weight, and that it ended up being, first she perpetrated the tragedy on the Monitor, and then also had a moment where she could be self-sacrificial and hope to make up for atone for what she'd done, really.
And when we're talking about, I don't know, we have a limited amount of time. We talk about the future now. When you're coming out of Justice League, Crisis on Infinite Earths, that's such a big thing for all of us fans.
Yeah.
Do you look ahead and go, oh, how do we follow this now? Like, what's next for DC?
Well, we have a few more films that were already in production. The Watchmen Chapter One is coming out soon, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
I highly recommend it. Brandon did a great job, and Joe Straczynski did a great job on the script, and it's such a like Crisis, it's such an important piece of this tapestry that hopefully we did that justice as well. I pray that the audience will see the work and care that went into it, just like this. Um, because all of these beats don't work for all of the people because you have a different idea of what it should be in your head, and sometimes those things diverge, and then you don't like them. But in terms of overall, it's James Gunn's world now, so he's gonna decide what those cartoons are and those animated films are, and all the live action ones too. So it's a new day. It literally is. His Earth Prime will be his, and
Uh,
and hopefully it'll be great. He's a super talented guy, so I can't wait to watch it.
all right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Love to you from a Wisconsin girl to a Michigan guy, and best of luck and keep telling great stories, Jim.
All right, thanks so much.